Good morning, one and all. Looking to improve your speaking and leadership skills, ignite your career, gain the confidence to speak up. You have come to the right place. Since 1924, Toastmasters International has helped more than 4 million people just like you from around the world become more confident speakers and a leader. Toastmasters International is a world leader in communication and leadership development. With more than 364,000 members, is over 16,200 clubs in 145 countries. These networks of clubs and by doing program are you sure to help you improve. Toastmaster International will give you the skills and confidence you need to express yourself effectively in any situation, whether you are a professional, student, stay at home, parent, or retired. Toastmaster is the most efficient, enjoyable, affordable way of gaining great communication skills. You will learn how to formulate and express your idea effectively, be more persuasive, confident when giving presentations, improve your one-on-one dealing with others. Don't delay. Become the speaker and a leader you want to be. Confident, charismatic leaders were not born that way. As you progress in Toastmasters, you will get to practice your skills by organizing, conducting meetings like youth leadership program, Toastmasters meetings, and motivate others to help you, like how we do the evaluation. Become a better negotiator, gain trust, inspire your team. Toastmaster mission. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered, develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Through this mission, each Toastmasters gain a clear understanding the club's purpose and the organization as a whole benefit from shared set of values. Visit our next meeting. Guest almost welcome. You won't regret it. So there is a ground rule. Please turn off your mobile phone, put them on a silent mode. As a Toastmaster, we don't talk about other than what we are in the meeting. Please refrain discussing these topics. Please do not cross talk. Without a further ado, I would like to invite our coordinator. She will be taking rest of the coming session. Toastmaster Sangeeta Bhattacharya, as an entrepreneur, transformation and a mindset coach. She helps people in realizing and in the actualization of their best version. A person who believes in giving, there is always a solution, no matter what the problem. Have been a member of Toastmaster for over 2 years. Please give her a virtual round of applause to Toastmaster Sangeeta Bhattacharya.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Toastmaster Vikar. I'm really humbled and honored. Dear good morning, fellow Toastmasters, beautiful youth leaders, potential youth leaders, and moderators, and guests, if anybody in the room. A very warm welcome to one and all. Today, we're going to have this fantastic workshop, and workshops are such beautiful things that help us to learn so much and give us the opportunity to open up our creative thinking skills, critical thinking skills. And today the youth leaders coordinators have arranged one such workshop that is going to be taken by a leader who does things differently, a woman who can see something in you and knows what it is. She's an educator by profession. She's a passionate Toastmaster. She joined Toastmaster in the year 2016 and went on to become the Distinguished Toastmaster in 2019. She has been a champion speaker. She has won immense number of prizes for the beautiful speeches that she's delivered. She's coordinated number of Toastmaster events. She loves listening to music and reading books. So we all know her, and we are all eagerly waiting for her. So with a big round of applause, let's welcome our very dear Distinguished Toastmaster, Gayatri Ravindran.
You can see me clearly. Can you all hear me?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Am I loud?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Because these things are very, very clear. First thing is you should be visible. Second thing is you should be audible. Third is audible clearly. Integral part of a speech. Thank you for that lovely introduction, Toastmaster Sangeeta. Wonderful, wonderful that so many of us are here today to learn something new, become better versions of who we are. We've had a series of workshops organized by our coordinators of the Youth Leadership Program. And this in the series is one of them, on how to speak better, how to have a stage presence better. And we come to one of the key skills, a key talent, something which can be developed and honed on. That is gesturing. Before I move into what I want to present, let me ask you guys, how many of you did not see or hear Dhananjaya's and Darren Tay's speech? Be honest, raise your hand and let me know. Oh, wow, everyone saw it. And everyone heard. You didn't see it? Oh, I'm disappointed, Yosef, Shreya. But, oh, number of people have not seen. Then you missed it. But, good news is here. I have a series of questions which I had posted in our groups. Some people were kind enough to send me the answers. Excellent. But I'm going to ask you guys here. Same set of questions. Let me see how many answer me correctly. There are two things that you can do. You can keep your mics muted and write some things in the chat box. But I prefer the other one that I'm going to tell you. Keep your mics open. Even if you haven't got your videos open, keep the mic open, because you will get an opportunity to answer, and anyone who answers correctly, you will feel happy and I will feel happy as well. Remember, there are no right answers or wrong answers because this is not a test. But definitely, it's an important set of skills to have heard, seen, because the point was to see. And then tell me what you saw. Because, my dear youth leaders, speech is 40% your content, 60% is how you present it. Keep that in mind. Let's see. Where's my first question? Let's go to Dhananjaya's speech. With what gesture did he open his speech? Does anyone remember? Yes, Ankush, you can unmute and speak. I'll
Yeah.
catch somebody easier. What did he do?
He took out a rose from his pocket. I don't know what
And?
it's called. And
And?
he showed it to the audience
And?
and
Very
then
good.
described life with
Right.
that rose.
Absolutely right. When he spoke of his mother coming to the jail or the prison to see him, what did he do? Yes, Aishali.
He was crying, yani tears of shame.
Somebody else. It's close, but
He enacted the act of his mother holding the prison bars.
like this.
Yeah. Turning towards the left, holding the prison bars.
Absolutely. This is my left for you. This will be this way. He was like this. Absolutely right. There was a third question. But he spoke of three kinds of tears. He spoke of three kinds of tears. Does someone remember where he showed? Remember, I'm not asking you to remember the or by heart the content. It's your gesture. Where was he facing it? Where was his hand facing? Like this, or
His palm
tears?
towards the audience.
Right. Who was that? Anshara, right. Tears of
Tears
Tears
of
of
joy,
joy,
tears of sorrow,
and tears of shame.
Into
the shame.
See
Yes.
how significant those gestures were. Now let's go to the fourth one. Where was there any point where he is standing like this?
No, never.
Think. Think. I'll not tell you whether he was or not, but think. You don't remember seeing him. Very good. Next. Because this denotes
Nervousness.
one thing, also denotes some kind of a defensive position. And his speech did not have that. But he came quite close. Yes, Zurafa, you have something to say. You can raise your hand. Okay, fine. Okay. And when he spoke about his father, where do you think were his hands? Remember
He
the
raised
place
his hands.
where he said his father asked him a few questions. You flunked your exam. You went into jail. You take that from your mother's side. Remember?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
This shows authority. Right. Now, those were the 5 questions regarding Dhananjaya. Let's see what Darren Tay did. He caught everybody's eye. What do you do? First thing, definitely he did not use his hands. He used his hands to do something else. What was that?
To wave.
Yes, Ankush. What did he do?
He took out a piece of underwear from his pocket and wore it on the stage and then looked at the audience.
Excellent. Do you remember by chance what brand he was talking about?
No.
So I can say it.
What was that? Tell me.
It was Calvin Klein.
Absolutely. Calvin Klein, right. Not that it makes a difference here, but when you mix up a gesture with a name, you remember both together. Right? Right. So now, when he was talking about, hey, loser. Where did he point?
Up. He pointed up.
No, point to the audience.
To the audience.
And what's the next one? When he spoke to the audience about their eyes looking somewhere, and then he said they're supposed to look somewhere else. What did he do?
Pointed towards eyes to look in his eyes.
He got angry.
He pointed here, and then he said, my eyes are up here. Right? Now, what's the next one? When he's talking about the bully, where were his eyes? Where were his hands? Aisha has something to say? Anshara, anyone can unmute. Speak, come on. That was the point. He didn't have it anywhere. When he spoke about the bully, he brought it over here and then removed it. Close. This shows some kind of an authoritative figure. And a bully at that time is an authoritative figure. Go check. Now, how did he use his hands? Did he use his hands like this? Or wear his hands this way? Or wear his palms facing this side? Or was it this side? Or was it this side?
Was moving his hands freely.
Facing?
Definitely not the first two, but maybe the last ones.
Right, absolutely right.
The
Most of
third
the
one.
time, his hands were facing this way. Right. Now, the last question. Does anyone remember how many times he did this?
I think it was 10 times. Not sure.
3
Five.
times? 4 times? Lot of
Five.
times. You don't need to. Yes,
I
my dear.
think 10 times.
I think it's 5 or 6.
7 times.
Oh,
Very
okay.
good. See, the number is insignificant. What the gesture means, that's the crucial point. Right. When you were hearing the speeches, were you seeing or were you only hearing? Think. Don't tell me. We are in this together. Khadija says both. But if you are only hearing, the content would be very much fresh in your mind because it's very powerful. It's very assertive, right? But when you saw, when you see, it makes a greater impact. Why? Can anyone answer? Why are these gestures?
Because both your senses, the hearing and the seeing, are focused on that thing.
Absolutely right. Who was that?
Anshara.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. When we give a speech, there are many ways in which we give. Yes, Khadija says we hear it with more interest. Absolutely right. And that's where the impact is. Impact happens when the content and the person both make an impact. They attack your senses, literally. They impact you. Once upon a time, when we were all growing up, we only had audios. We had those spools, those small tape recorder and those small cassette recorders, and I grew up on those. So there was no visual. It's only 1982 that television came to India. And that's when we began to watch things. Definitely, the visuals made a greater impact. Much in the same way, my youthful leaders, gestures make a big impact. Imagine standing like a robot and giving your speech. Some of us tend to do that because we are scared. Oh my God, everybody's eyes are on me. I am going to start praying that the whole ground opens up and I go inside. Finish. I don't want to be visible. How many of you feel that way? Enough, yaar, chodo. Let me go and hide somewhere. Please don't look at me. A lot of us, we feel that way. The reason is we are not used to speaking in front of a crowd. We are all used to speaking one-on-one with 2 or 3 friends, our group of friends. But that's a different thing. When you are speaking in front of an audience who don't know you, who have not seen you, you are scared that they're going to judge you. These are the 3 factors that really scare us. Can we overcome all of this? Of course. How do we do it? Through our gestures. And gestures, youthful leaders, are a crucial part of body language because they come under Body language. Now, what is body language? The body, of course, our eyes, although they say speaking eyes, nobody, sees words coming out. Hands don't speak, but our whole system, our whole body speaks fluid motion. When you use your hands, your gestures, you nod, you stand this way, you stand that way. When you do that, that's the whole fluid poetry in motion, literally. So when people or when speakers, they use the correct gestures, that is when their speeches have great impact. Anyone can give a speech. Look in the, have a sheet of paper. I'm going to read. Or put your words on the screen and act as if you're not reading, but you're reading. So your eyes are looking somewhere else. So what happens to your voice? You're so connected to your script that your voice loses its naturality, right? So how do you counteract all of that? How do you work with your script, with your voice? How do you impact people? By using gestures. Body language is confident, your speech will be confident. When body language is confident, you yourself will be confident. Today I'm going to give you 6 pointers. If you want to make a note, make a note. 6 pointers. How you can feel more comfortable, how you can feel more confident. Many of you may have attended speech building workshops or programs, or you may have attended speech classes where people, public speaking classes. You may have learned these things. I'm here to remind you, go back. That's what you learned. The first thing, if you're not feeling confident, the first gesture is put your hands, open up your palms, get all the fingers together. This forms steeple. I like to call it a triangle because it looks like that. So keep your hands this way. Fingers. I would like to tell you about what I learned back in school. I'm just saying, I'm giving a sentence by keeping my fingers joined up together. Steeple. What is it called?
Steeple.
People.
You can remember it as triangle because it's easier. I like to call it a triangle. It's a triangle. When you start a speech, you're not sure. Oh my God, I'm not confident. You put your fingers together like this in a triangular form and start saying. Slowly, you come to the second gesture. First gesture is triangle. Keep it. Second one is open triangle. Open your hands. Not this. Keep it this way. Start. You will feel a bit confident. So open triangle like this. The third one is the third. Open palms. Wider. 1, 2, and 3. And 3 can be 4. On Zoom, it can only be 3. But remember, on stage, you go back to stage, and that's where you will actually be speaking one day. There, it doesn't matter. You don't have to restrict yourself. It's this way. That's the third one. Now, all these three gestures show that you are confident, you are respectful, and you're also knowledgeable. I would like to tell you something about my favorite piece of ice cream. I love butterscotch, hands down. Give me butterscotch ice cream morning, noon, and night. and I am happy. I've used all the 3 gestures I've told you in this segment. I started talking about the ice cream, my favorite butterscotch. Then I said, give it to me morning, noon, and night. I'll be very happy. It's like 1, 2, and 3. So there is what? Flow, fluid. So it's 1, 2, and 3, and it is natural. Now, when you want to emphasize something, use this particular gesture. I'll give a speech. I'll say a few lines. Tell me what it is. I love butterscotch ice cream. Give it to me morning, noon, and night. I am the happiest. But anyone comes to share with me, what was the thing I did? It's called the cut. What did it do, guys? Come on. Think.
You acted as if you will chop him off.
Now, this is not one of the pointers, but this definitely is. A lot of people, they use this gesture to show, if you finish this, then you can go and complete your, well, you can go and play. Once our team is able to get things done, this project will be successful. So what is this? Emphasize.
The cut.
Yes. Emphasize. And this is also, it's more assertive.
It's a way of showing anger.
Sorry?
A way of showing anger, that you're angry.
Yes, that depends on the positions. That depends on the context. That depends also on the situation. Now, definitely when I show this to share my ice cream, no way. It shows anger, and definitely I'm warning. But in a team, in a group of people, when you're talking and you're presenting something, we've got to get this done, guys. We've got to get this done, guys. Unless we finish this, we will not succeed. Now, for example, there's a debate over here. Come on, guys, get on with it. Otherwise, we won't win. What is this? It appears assertive. So let's go back over the 4 pointers. What's the first gesture?
Triangle.
Triangular
Absolutely.
steeple.
A steeple.
Your mics open, you can speak, because I would like to hear people.
Steeple.
Triangle or steeple.
Triangle or steeple.
Open triangle.
Open triangle. And this?
Open palms.
Open palms. The cut.
The cut.
The cut.
Now, all these are very important. Let's put all of them together and go back to my butterscotch ice cream. Okay? Right. I love butterscotch ice cream. Who doesn't love ice cream? But I love butterscotch. Give it to me morning, noon, and night, and I am the happiest. But if anyone comes to take it, beware. Last week, my husband got me a tub of butterscotch. You think I'm going to share it? No. What did I do? I put it in the freezer and left it, and I warned people not to touch it. I'll stop there. I used all the 4, and I used this also. This is automatically something that moves into the next action. Then what did I say? Last week, my husband got me a tub. And what did I show?
The tub.
And then, yes.
Building a tub.
And then,
Put it in the
right.
Freezer shut.
So what I did. Why do you remember that? Because I showed it. So when you begin this way, and then you do this automatically, one after the other, because your hands are open, the actions will automatically come in. That's when you lose your stiffness. You know, Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. That's one way of saying it. But if I'm going to tell you one of my favorite pieces of rhyme, Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. One for my master, one for my dame, and one for the little boy who lives down the lane. Same series of actions used in any context. What happens? People listen to you, they hear you, and the words impact. And your hands, because you are confident about these gestures, there is a flow. So the 5th point is flow of movements. Make sure that you show appropriate movements related to that subject. Now, if you want to show, let's say, a baby, you're going to show this. Mother was rocking her baby. This is a gesture. What has that got to do with the speech, ma'am? Everything. Because that is what is going to impact the audience. Once upon a time, there was an old man who lived in a shoe. I was not going to do that. I had a box, and then the box broke. Eggs broke. There was a fight. These are gestures. Because what happens is your content becomes supreme and your gestures add that little extra zing. That's your flow of movements. Keep your hands here, this way, that way. Now, when we talk of hands, I'm going to keep the last one for the last. But while we are at hands, the flow of movements come with your hands. When your hands are occupied rightly, your whole body is occupied well as well. Now, we're going to try something. 1, 2, and 3, right? Box. Small. Show this way. Small, small, tiny. Now, if you're going to keep it this way, keep your hands together. I want all of you to keep your hands together. Practice. Like this. Are you confident? Think and tell me. Because you are sitting in your homes. You're confident. When you are in front of people, it's a different thing. Keep it this way. And keep your palms faced to you, to your faces. And then turn them the other way. Put it back, facing you. Put it back, facing away from you. Which gesture is open, which is more friendly, eye-pleasing? Which is it?
The one which is facing towards
Just to
us.
ourselves.
Yeah. The palm facing towards us.
Absolutely right. Your open palms are the secret. Your palms have that confident booster. You keep it to you. You might be looking at it and feeling happy, but the audience needs to feel you. If you show your palms to the audience, they think of you as being confident, someone who knows, knowledgeable, assertive. Now, that's regarding your palms. Let's quickly go over triangle,
Open palms.
and
The cut.
Cut.
I'd like the mic to be off so I can hear you guys. Cut. And then you have, what is all this? Flow of movement. Your hands and feet will automatically start moving. That's your flow of movements. The last one. If you want to be a better speaker, you need to know a few things. How to give a speech. What am I doing here?
Pointing out.
And what is this?
Something
Excellent.
nice.
This is called a circle, because it's a circle. When you do this, for certain points which you want to emphasize, you want to stress, you want to give it that importance. So when you do this, the audience knows you are knowledgeable, you are assertive. Giving a speech, youthful leaders, is an art, it's a science, it's a skill. You need to know how to give the best speech. If you're not very confident, perhaps you're a little more, and you are much more, so many things can happen because the audience is going to be listening to you. And when you give every point clearly, they're going to be listening, they're going to be watching, they'll be paying attention to you. That, youthful leaders, is the secret of being a good speaker. Would you like to be a good speaker?
Yes.
Yes.
How many of you would like to really take your speaking skills a notch higher? Raise your hands. What about Aisha, Behnaz? No, sorry about that. Amatullah, what happened to you, Shreya? I have to see a lot of people. How nice it is to see so many raised hands. All it requires is gestures, and your body language automatically becomes strong. Why? Why does it become strong? Because you come across as someone who's knowledgeable. You feel confident, you come across as knowledgeable. That's when you make an impact. When you impact the audience, you become. Let's quickly go over those pointers quickly one more time, last time, and then I'll leave the room open for questions. Triangle, open triangle, open palms, cut. The flow of movement, which also includes coming close to the audience and close to the camera and going away. Remember, in real life, you cannot come close to the audience, but you can look into each person's eyes. And then the last one is emphasizing. That is how you take the next step to become next level speaker. Any questions? Otherwise, I'll hand over the screen to Toastmaster Sangeeta.
Wow, thank you so much. That was an awesome demonstration, Gayatri ma'am. So we're opening the floor for question answer for 5 minutes. So come up with your questions. This is an opportunity. You have any questions, please put your hands down and then again raise them because all the hands are raised. So whoever wants to have a question, please come forward. I have learned so many gestures, which I'm going to start doing when I speak. So this is something that I loved. This is so powerful, isn't it? Come on, don't you all want to know some more from this expert?
Another question is like it happens with me every time that I go into the flow of gestures too much that I start moving and speaking less.
Ma'am, she has a question for you.
To repeat that, my dear, because it wasn't very clear.
It's
Can you
like
say that?
I go into the flow of gestures too much sometimes that I, speak less and move more.
That's perfectly fine. Don't worry too much about it. These things come with practice. If you're going to be walking up and down the stage, definitely you will lose focus and the audience may also lose focus. So try to keep your presence one spot, speak a few moments, using your gestures with your hands, and you can look sideways this way, and then move to the next spot. There is such a thing called overdoing things, and that's when people say, oh my God, he's so dramatic. But if that's what it is, I don't think you need to worry. Each person has a style. Now, a lot of people tell me also that I do a lot of gestures, but what is the purpose of those gestures? To keep the audience hooked to what you're saying. Is the audience hooked to what I'm saying? Are you guys listening to me carefully? Is your attention somewhere else? Now, just because your videos are off and your mics are muted, doesn't mean that you can't hear and see me, right? Yeah. So probably you are listening. That is what is expected. That is what sets us apart. Everyone has their style. Some of us use a lot of gestures. Go ahead. Don't ever be ashamed of using gestures. That is who you are. So make that gesture, or whatever the gestures are, make them your own personal brand of speaking. Now, the way I'm speaking is with a lot of my hands, and for your information, my head is also shaking. All of this is a part of gestures, every single thing.
Right.
The purpose is to keep the audience hooked. If the audience is hooked, you can forget about anything else. You need to first own your gestures, own it, make that your personal brand. That's what sets you apart. Otherwise, anybody can speak, and there'll be hundreds of people speaking. But what is different about you? Be confident. Go ahead with whatever it is. Make sure that you memorize your speech, use your arms, controlled, but keep doing it.
Ma'am, I think Yusuf has a question. Yes. He has raised his hand. Mm-hmm. Yusuf, you have a question?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
My question is, if I make any mistakes during a speech, for example, if I say a wrong word, how do I fix that? Like, how do I not mess up when I say the wrong word?
I like the question. It has happened with me many times. If you've pronounced it wrongly, you can always repeat that part of your speech once again with the correct pronunciation and go on as if nothing happened. Don't make it obvious to the audience. Oh my God, I made a mistake, so I'm going to rectify, and I'm letting you know it. Don't do that. Got it?
Thank you, ma'am. Ruwa, come out with your question.
Example I will give. Like sure. One is psychology. The person who is following psychology or who practices is a psychologist, right? There are people who say psychology and psychologist. Then they realize something is wrong and then they correct it. Oh, I'm sorry, I pronounced it wrongly. Don't say that. Go over it as if nothing is wrong. Go over things as if you didn't make a mistake. Next time you go over the same word, repeat the word, say it correctly. There are two ways of doing it. Go back, repeat that part and correct it, or gloss over it as if nothing happened, but make sure to correct it the next time. I hope that answers your question.
Beautiful example. Very clearly understood. Any more questions anybody would like to have? We have a message from, it's a great learning. Yes, it was a fantastic experience. Anybody would like to know about how to do this gesture? Have you got something in mind that you can ask ma'am that how do we do this? That will be a fantastic takeaway for all of us. Let's have some maybe some question, how I want to express something like this. So what do I do then? Okay, I'm doing this. I'm doing this. Anybody? Okay, ma'am, can you just, if you are not having, let me share, ask my question. If you want to show with your gesture that you're really frightened and you're really scared. So how do we do that?
Many ways to do it. When you're on stage in a drama, that's frightening. But try doing that in the speech and people will want to lift you from the stage and throw you outside. So don't do it. In a speech, you're frightened. Just keep it to your face. I was frightened. So your voice, your eyes, your expressions and your hands. This is your body language there. It's frightening. I was absolutely scared. Oh my God. That's how you express. But if you do, I was so scared. I didn't know what to do. Hey, Bhagwan. No, that's going overboard. Speech,
that's overdoing.
Gestures will help us to understate our experience and the audience to feel it. I repeat it. Gestures should be understated, especially when you're showing emotions, so that the audience feels. We don't need to express. They should learn it. They should understand. They should feel it. I'll give you an example. 3 weeks ago, I was walking along the railway tracks and I saw this tiny puppy along the side with the foot. Such a sad thing. I was so sad. Such an unfortunate thing. How much pain it would have gone through. Could it say anything? No. But I just picked it up and I clasped it close to my chest. That was the least I could do. Emotions. I hope that answered. Do you feel sad when I talked about the puppy? Everyone has a sad look on your face. Did I show any excess emotion?
No.
But you felt it. Useful leaders, that is the power of gestures and body language. Make them yours. Own your gestures. Your brand should be what you gesture.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Okay, somebody wants to, how do you use the stage effectively? From guest Sarah.
Definitely not by running up and down. Stand in the center. This is your stage. Now at this moment, the screen is our stage. So you can only see this part. Obviously, if I move out from this side, you lose sight of me. And if I move this side also, you can see, but it's not really that clear. So as much as possible on screen, in front of the camera, try to keep the movements to the right side, to the left side, and to the center. The most important, come forward. Make the screen, the camera, project who you are, what you are, and what you're saying. And then if you want to go backward, go ahead, but you may have to raise your voice. As you come closer and closer and closer, that is when you can hear me whisper. That's how you use the stage. But on the stage, divide the stage into 3 parts. Start with the center, move to the right side, then move to the left side, but be calm, casual. The point is, don't go this way. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Calmly taking 1 foot forward, moving to the side, 1 foot forward, moving to the side. practice, it becomes natural.
And mom,
Thank you so much.
what if we have a podium on?
Sorry?
You can't move to the side. No, what if you're on the podium? You can't move to the sideways,
Not
right?
audible.
No, I heard it. Her voice is coming from somewhere, and I think she's using two devices probably. I don't have a problem. I didn't understand. But if you're on the podium, I am standing at the podium right now. Don't hang on to it for dear life. Hey, Bhagwan, Allah Ta'ala, give me strength. Otherwise, I'm going to be scared. Don't do that. Be casual. Hold it. But when you want to gesture, use your right arm. Do this. Show. That's it. You cannot move backwards and forwards because you are on the podium. Right in front is your, that's a lectern, by the way. And then right in front is the mic. So if you want to hang on to the mic and speak, go ahead. But if you're comfortable, keep one hand if you want for some, some moral strength, support, hold and speak. Because if there's a podium, automatically your notes are in front. So look at it and speak. Look at it and speak. But if you're confident about it, you can leave the hands and speak as if you're giving a speech. And at that time, this screen should be followed there. You should keep the screen in mind when you're at the podium.
Thank you so much, ma'am, with keeping the time constraint in mind. So that was our last question. I would like to thank distinguished Toastmaster Gayatri, ma'am. It was an honor having you. This was really so important for all our speakers, not just the youth leaders, for all the Toastmasters in this room today. Thank you so much. And with that, we will go to the next segment now. Thank you so much.
Okay, before going over there, as a formalities, we need to give her the certificate of appreciation. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being with us. It's really pleasure, like you with us. Thank you being with us, and kindly accept your with that we will conclude our workshop session, educational workshop session. Now we will move on to the respective breakout room, and Toastmaster Gayatri, you will be the general evaluator, and Toastmaster Sangeeta will be in the AYLP. So now we are making a breakout room. Ensure you are.
Breakout rooms are done. You can just click and join. Toastmaster Viqar, you will have to join yourself. Because you are
Thank you. Thank you.
This is AYLP, right? Yes.
Yes, please. And the floor is all yours.
Yeah, okay. Right. First, before we start, let's quickly check if we have all the role players in the room. Do we have our timer?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, let's start with our Sergeant at Arms. Do we have our Sergeant at Arms?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Where's our President? Great. Okay. And the speakers?
Yes, ready.
How many speakers do we have? And how many speakers?
5 speakers.
Do we have 5 evaluators as well? All the evaluators are present in the room? Let me just quickly call the name. Can the speaker? Okay, speaker 1 is Anshara. You're there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Noura Faisal.
Yes, ma'am.
Khadija Zara.
Yes.
Uzaid Khan.
Yes, I'm here.
Mohammed Ariz.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, now the first evaluator, Rua, you're there?
Yes.
Second speaker, Soha, the second evaluator. And third evaluator, Zara. Are you there, Zara?
No, she isn't there.
All right, so for third speaker, okay, and the fourth evaluator, Ahmed Abdul Rahman. Are you there? Fourth speaker, fourth evaluator? Evaluating Uzaid? Are you there? No? Okay, and the fifth evaluator evaluating Muhammad Ariz, Asim Ali, are you there? No? All right, so we need to have, we need volunteers to evaluate.
Ma'am,
Fourth,
can I
fifth.
volunteer?
Yes,
Or-
please.
Zurafa.
So we need how many evaluators do we need? We need I think Zara Munich is not there, and Ahmed Abdur is not there, and Asim is there. So we need 3 evaluators who will
I
be
can
volunteer.
volunteer. I can
Ma'am,
volunteer.
I can.
I can
Okay.
volunteer.
Sure. So how many are we? Okay, Zurafa, Yusuf, and one more. I need one more volunteer, please, to evaluate. Okay, so Zurafa, you will be evaluating fourth speaker, Uzaid Khan. All right. Just note that down.
Yes, ma'am.
Zurafa, you're evaluating youth leader Uzaid Khan. He's the fourth speaker. Who is evaluating Muhammad Ariz? Yusuf, you'll be evaluating Muhammad Ariz. Okay.
Okay. Okay, miss, no problem.
Okay. And that's fourth and fifth done. And third speaker we have the evaluator.
Zahra. Zahra is not here.
Zara is also not there. So anybody is there to volunteer to evaluate Khadija's speech? If nobody volunteers, then we will have, come on, that's an opportunity. Who would like to evaluate? Or shall I nominate? Will you like that? Shall I nominate?
Nominate.
Okay, so let me see. Aisha, are you already having a role? Okay, Aisha has a role already, I think. Yeah. Who doesn't have a role? Who hasn't got a role right now today? Please take it up. Khadija, can you help me with a name? I can't really identify who. You have 3 roles. That's fine. Okay. Hussein Ariz. Hussein. Where's Hussein Ariz? You already have a role. Okay.
Nuha.
Who's that?
Nuha.
Nuha, would you like to evaluate as Khadija? Khadija. We're looking for an evaluator for her, Khadija. Even David's name has come up, but David is already a timer. Yeah.
Why no one wants to evaluate my speech?
Then we have our mentor, Ishan.
Sangeeta, I haven't done an
Yes.
evaluation. Please put me down.
All right, great. Sorry, you're evaluating Khadija.
Yeah, that's speech number 3.
That's speech number 3. Yes.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's open the room now. We can start. Sergeant Arms, you can go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. 1 minute. Yes. So can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, youth leaders, and dear guests. My name is Zurafa, and I will be the surgeon at arms for today's meeting. I welcome you all to the 6th session meeting of the Bahrain IT Professional Toastmaster Club Youth Leadership Program. Before starting the meeting, I would like to mention 3 ground rules which we follow in our Toastmaster meeting. Number 1, please turn off your mobile phones or put them on silent mode. As Toastmasters, we don't talk about sex, religion, and politics, so please refrain from discussing these topics. Number 3, please do not crosstalk. Every Toastmaster club shares the same mission, clearly defined in the following mission statement. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Through this mission, each Toastmaster gains a clear understanding of the club's purpose, and the organization as a whole benefit from a shared set of values and goals. Visit our next meeting. Guests are most welcome. You won't regret it. So please welcome our Youth Leader Program President, Youth Leader Khatija Zara.
Thank you, Surjit Adams. Good morning, Sangeeta ma'am, mentors, guests, and fellow young leaders. I wholeheartedly welcome you all to the session 6 of Youth Leadership Program conducted by BITP Toastmasters Club. I, Khadija Zara, the president, call the meeting to order. Our today's theme is Independence Day, and the word of the day, freedom. I request all the fellow young leaders and everyone presented here to use the word of the day, freedom, as many times as you can. Today, we all are here to acknowledge our privilege of being born in free India and to celebrate the 75th Independence Day of our country. We need to ask those born before 1947 to know the pangs of anguish of being enslaved under a colonial rule. For every Indian those days, it was a Herculean task to fight against those powerful giants, the British. Those difficult times and struggles must not allow to fade away our memories. Hence, every Independence Day, we not only celebrate our freedom, but we also pay tribute to the ones who fought for it, to the ones who held a vision for our country, and to the ones who sacrificed themselves for the same. I invite the Secretary RS to see the minutes of the last meeting.
Thank you, MC. Thank you, President Khadija Zara. IRS as Secretary of the meeting is going to say the minutes of the meeting of last session, which was held on 7th August at 8:30 with name, friendship and word of the day together. At 8:30, Mohammed Viqaruddin and Tawfiq introduced the session, and then second Chief Coordinator Tawfiq divided us into two breakout rooms, AYLP and BYLP. And then our Chief Coordinator Mohammed Viqaruddin called upon Sergeant in Arms Zurafa Mohammed. Zurafa Mohammed opened up this meeting and invited our President Khadija Zara to call the meeting in order. Then our President introduced Master of Ceremonies Abdali Barodawala and hand over the stage to him. Then the MC called upon Timer and Grammarian to tell about the rules, and then our icebreaker speeches started at 9:16 a.m. and ended on 9:32 a.m. At 9:37 a.m. our evaluation session started, and at 9:49 a.m. it ended. Then our MC handed over the stage to Chief Coordinator to introduce the debate topic, Is winter better than summer? At 9:53 a.m., our General Evaluator Ramesh Halai gave the reports. Ramesh Halai then gave over the stage to our President to adjourn the meeting. At last, Mr. Viqaruddin announced the winner as following. Best Speaker, Soha Aslam. Best Evaluator, Khadija Zara. Best Debate Speaker, Yusuf Bardoli. And the Best Debate Team, A. Samar. Thank you. Back to you, President.
We'll just have to wait a little while because Khadija's brother is speaking, so she's taken 2 minutes. Khadija, once you're done. Yeah, you're done? We cannot hear you.
Today's MC, the Masters of Ceremony, Toastmaster of the Day, is a charming, beautiful, enthusiastic youth leader, Zurafa Mohammed. I hand over the stage to her. All the best.
Thank you, Miss President Khadija, for that beautiful introduction. The theme for today's session is Independence Day. India will celebrate its 75th year of independence on 15th August 2021. Freedom in mind, faith in words, pride in heart, memories in mind. Let's salute the nation on Independence Day. Good morning, Chief Coordinators, mentors, guests, and youth fellow leaders. I'm very glad to be the MC of today's session. Time is free, but it's priceless. You can't own it, but you can use it. You can't keep it, but you can spend it. Once you have lost it, you can never get it back. So let's welcome today's timer, youth leader David, to tell the timing criteria.
Greetings, fellow Toastmasters, dear youth leaders, and guests. Today, I, David M. Samuel, will be the timer for today's session. As timer, I will time the table topic speakers, formal speeches, and the evaluations. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left, using the green, yellow, and red cards, which denote specific time remaining. Table topic speakers should limit their remarks to no more than 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I'll raise the green card. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, I'll raise the yellow card. At 2 minutes, I'll raise the red card. Those giving speeches should limit their remarks to their specific speech times. Icebreaker speeches should be 4 to 6 minutes in length. At 4 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 5 minutes, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 6 minutes, I'll raise the red card. Most other speeches should be 5 to 7 minutes in length. At 5 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 6 minutes, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 7 minutes, I'll raise the red card. The individual evaluations should be between 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 2 minutes, 30 seconds, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I'll raise the red card. Thank you.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but the icebreaker speech is of 3 to 4 minutes.
According to the criteria it's written, it's supposed to be 4 to 6 minutes.
But it's actually 3 to 4 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you, youth leader David. To correct our grammatical mistake, I invite youth leader Yusuf.
Thank you. Master of Ceremonies, youth leader, fellow youth leaders, Toastmasters, and guests. As grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language. I'll take notes of any improper language, as well as outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. For today's meeting, the word is unity, which means the state of being united or joined as a whole. An example of using this word is, complete political unity is impossible to achieve. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. I'll give the grammarian's report when called upon during the meeting and report the usage of word of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, youth leader Yusuf. Today, as we freely move around in our country without anyone questioning or imposing any kinds of restriction on us, we feel satisfied and contented. But this satisfaction is due to the efforts taken by our freedom fighter to free our country from the British rule. It's because of our freedom fighters that we are enjoying the freedom today. Their satyagrahas, sacrifices, and tortures have resulted in freedom that we enjoy today in our motherland, India. So now let's move on to the icebreaker session. Before introducing the first speaker, let me tell you about the freedom fighter, Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi, the leader of all Indian leaders, was born at Porbandar in Gujarat on 2nd October. He gave the people the weapon of non-violent struggle to fight injustice. He won freedom for India on 15th August 1947. He is rightly known as the father of the nation. Gandhi Gandhiji is respected all over the world today. He shall never be forgotten. So now I invite our first speaker, whose hobbies are writing, reading novels, and painting. It is none other than youth leader Anshara. Her speech title, A Soul in Progress. A Soul in Progress, youth leader Anshara.
Thank you, MC, for that introduction. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Life is
You
nothing.
are
but a
audible, you're
roller
not
coaster.
visible. You're audible, you're not visible. Please check your camera.
Okay. Thank you for informing that. No, actually, I'm using two devices. I'm having some issues with my laptop, so I have to join from my mobile for the microphone. Okay. Life is nothing but a roller coaster. One doesn't begin when we're on the top of it. It starts in the unexpected terms and transition. A very good morning to one and all. Allow me to take you all on a roller coaster ride of my life. I'm Anshara, or as I was officially named, Anshara Samin, back on the 28th of May 2004. I'll save you the math, I'm 17. I was born as a first child to very loving parents in Maharashtra, India. Being the oldest daughter in the family, I was a spot of much attraction, love, and of course, hopes. I suppose that's a hitch for being the eldest. Anyways, in the starting, I had to change schools many times, like many times. And because of that, I had a lot of difficulty. Why? Because I was always the new kid. Life was actually perfect. But the actual journey of what I am today starts back in sixth standard. I was a pretty good speaker and I could speak well. I had no fear. But my friends, so-called friends, used to say me, Anshara, listen to me. I'm saying it for your better good. You're not made for public speaking. You can't make it on the stage. You see, you'll just shiver up. And I wasn't bothered about that. And kept writing. Nah, who am I kidding? I wasn't that confident little girl. After failing a few times only, I started to believe them. That's right, they are my well-wishers, and I should just give this up. Fast forward to a year, I became a grumpy, shy girl who was always found at the corner of the class. But one time, I heard one of my peers give a speech. It was nothing inspirational or motivational, but it just clicked me that when she can't, why can't I? So the next time, I rose up and got the freedom from the haters. And since then, I won't say I didn't fall, but I did learn how to get up and learn from that fall. Now, talking about the present me, I would really like to share my favorites, but I'm a very moody person, so nothing stays. But one thing is for sure, that will never change. That's my love for music. Well, my favorite artist could be Selena Gomez. Oh, wait, Billie Eilish. Or maybe Alan Walker? I don't know. It's too much to choose from, isn't it? Now, besides reading, I love writing. I do not call myself a perfect writer yet, but it's my childhood dream to one day have a book published. And God knows, I'm still striving for that. As for any career options, there's nothing in my mind, or maybe too much in my mind that I can't choose from. But one thing is for sure, that I want to inspire people through my life. Now, thinking about it, to introduce myself, I should know about myself. This is my limitation. The fact is that I am a work in progress. I'm yet to discover myself. To give you a glimpse, I can say I am a soul on a progress, on a journey on the path of evolution. And one day, I hope I'll be able to introduce myself. This was my icebreaker speech. I wonder if I have broken the ice or taken too long till it melted. Thank you so much. Back to you, Master of Ceremonies.
Wow, that was a marvelous speech, and you did break the ice. Okay, now let's welcome our second speaker. It's youth leader Noora. She's a 12th grade student and a person who loves making friends. Her speech title, Learning to Live. Learning to Live, youth leader Noora.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me and see me?
Yes.
Learning to live. Good morning, respected mentors and fellow mentees. Today, I am here for my icebreaker, and like all of you, I am thrilled to be here. October 27, 2004, Mr. and Mrs. Abdul Kareem were blessed with an angelic baby girl, me. The day I was born, there was a blackout throughout Kuwait. But just as my parents entered our house carrying me in their arms, the lights came back on, and hence I was named Noura, meaning light, in Arabic. I describe myself as an extrovert. I've always been the chatty, bubbly little girl in crowds. All my elementary and secondary school teachers always had one complaint that I was too talkative in class, but they liked me for my happy and cheerful attitude. My father is a successful banker, and my mom, she's a passionate computer programmer. And thanks to their interest in traveling and exploring, my little sister and I have also had the chance to travel to many countries at a very young age. All of us are huge foodies. We love trying new kinds of cuisines and dishes, no matter how weird it may be. Speaking of food, I am very fond of Japanese and Italian food. One of the things that I want to do before I'm too old to travel is to see the world and experience the kinds of adventure and beauty that this world has to offer. I also enjoy watching movies a lot. My favorite genres are crime mystery, comedy, thriller, and horror. And some superhero movies are on my favorites list too. Now, coming to my athletic side. The liking for sports was instilled in me at a very young age. I have a keen interest in swimming and badminton. Before the pandemic took over our lives, I used to swim for my school, for inter-school tournaments. It's something that I'm very proud of. I crave thrill and excitement in life. And I think that's why I have been to some of the most craziest roller coasters and theme park rides. I've also been paragliding, river rafting, mountain hiking, zip lining, and next on my bucket list, I have skydiving. Something that I like to do in my leisure time is building Lego. I have an interesting collection of Lego that my sister, my dad, and I have been building over the years. I'm also very passionate about cooking and experimenting in the kitchen every now and then. I'm certainly not the best cook you'll find, but I'm getting there. As of today, I am in grade 12 in DPS Kuwait, and I aspire to pursue medicine and become a strong, independent, and successful woman who has lots of fun and excitement in her life. I'd like to end my speech here with a quote that I find a lot of meaning in. Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. Thank you. Over to you.
That was an excellent speech. Now let's welcome our third speaker. She is a person whose ambition is to become a surgeon. It is youth leader Khadija. Her speech title, Discovering Myself. Discovering Myself, youth leader Khadija.
Elizabeth?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Thank you, Masters of Ceremony. After staying 9 months in the womb of a mother, 9 months in the mind of a father, and 9 months in the heart of everyone. And that day finally arrived on 29th of March, when a bundle of joy came out crying constantly. And when the doctor said it was a baby girl, everyone were happy, especially her parents. Who knew that the girl would turn out to be very naughty? One day, in the middle of the night, when she was 2 years old, she started crying restlessly for a bottle of Laban. What could her parents do? Of course, they had to bring for that stubborn little toddler. You might be wondering, who is that great personality? It's none other than Khadija Zara. Thank you, thank you. Good morning, chief coordinators, mentors, guests, and all the fellow leaders. My journey from the first day till the 13th year has been with very, very lazy hobbies and wonderful stories in my life. In the beginning, the happiest parents were my mom and dad. My dad, who is an IT professional, and my mother, who is a business entrepreneur as well as a homemaker. As the years went by, I was blessed becoming an elder sister of 3 siblings. Being the elder sister is a very big responsibility, which is uncontrollable. Whenever the tiny ones make a great mess, my great mother points me out and tell me to clean, mop, and broom away their deeds. What could I do? I really would freedom from those siblings. But the one we hate the most is the one who we love the most. Anyways, telling you this story is of no use because it is a world phenomenon. Proceeding further, let me tell you my hobbies, which are reading books and writing stories. Wait, were you expecting me to say that? No, my honest hobbies are watching TV, sleeping, and eating. Eating in the sense, I really love chicken biryani, chicken shawarma, chicken pizza, chicken pasta, everything related to chicken. So now, sharing the one of the stupid and wonderful story in my life, and that too, it's very confusing in the sense, is of thinking of an ambition. I started thinking of an ambition since 4th grade. I thought first to become a president of my country, or a teacher, plumber, IPS officer, police officer, and many more. Plus, advocate. I thought advocate is a very good job. But while watching movies, I got to know that advocates are killed by the opponents. And then I thought, no chance. From there, I thought of becoming a plastic surgeon. From a plastic surgeon to surgeon. Don't ask me what I'm going to become a surgeon because there are many categories which are out of my mind. So, no use. 5 years from now, I see myself becoming a successful surgeon or maybe something else. And an independent girl in my dream country, France, discovering myself. Thank you. Over to you, Masters of Ceremony.
Wow, that was a fantabulous speech. Thank you, Khadija. So now, our fourth speaker is youth leader Usaid. He's a 9th grade student and he wants to become a software developer. His speech title, Things About Me. Things About Me, youth leader Usaid.
Am I audible and visible? Am I audible and visible? Can I know?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. So, hello everyone. My name is Viqaruddin Khan. I'm from Rajasthan and currently I'm 14 years old. Now, if I talk about childhood, I was a child who used to cry a lot. Even if it's small or big, I would cry for it. And if I talk about how my crying would go, well, my grandmom always used to say that this boy is just crying all of the time. If I see now, I've changed a lot. So nobody comes in this world without a support of a family or friends. Actually, whatever you will be, it's because of your family or your friends, because that is who create your environment. My father is a mechanical engineer right now and also an employed businessman. My mother is a housewife. I've learned from my parents the value of time, honesty, hard work, and commitment to what I say. We are 2 brothers and 2 sisters. Being the eldest, I'm the most liable of all of my brothers and sisters. I wanted to guide to all of my siblings, although they don't really listen to me a lot, even if I try to. If I try to hit them or try to teach them, my mom is always scolding me, saying that's my job. You're not supposed to teach them harshly. Well, if I talk about my studies, me and my sister go to Ibn al-Haytham Islamic School, but my younger brother goes to Indian School Bahrain, and my youngest sister doesn't go to school yet since she's only 3 itself. I'm in ninth class right now, and I'm very happy to be a part of a great school and having great friends, having a helpful and loving teacher, and a sound school administration. I'm good at maths, but weak at few subjects as well. In compared to studies, I'm quite average at sports, but I like football. Besides this, I'm not all that athletic, but I do love swimming. The advice of my parents has a good effect on my habits. I'm mostly speaking the truth, not not everyone is perfect, so I do lie sometimes. My parents always advise me to always commit to a mistake, even if I do so, and I try my best to commit to my mistake. I know how to remain happy in every condition because I believe that happiness is not out there, it's inside you. I'm a little bit adventurous person too. I like to take risks sometimes. I like to do creative things beside doing the same thing again and again. Learning new things is one of the things which I enjoy the most. Along with this, I like reading a few inspiring magazines which are different motivational stories. I and as we all know, not every man is perfect. Everyone has weakness. So yeah, I can get a little bit lazy many times, but I am working on that. My ambition in this life right now is to become a software engineer or a developer. Since computers has been my interest is from childhood, I always remember that moment when my dad gave me my first phone, and I really feel like this is something I should take care of. Without good planning career right from the start, no one can be on the right track. One has to set goals according to his or her boundary careers. I will seek for a competitive entrance exam for admission to a reputed college. I shall try to be a good and honest student, and I shall try to be qualified software developer. I will do all to be a good software developer and will be sincere to it. These are all things which express me, though nobody can describe yourself in just a few set of sentences. But right now, this is uh, the most things you can know about me. So I would like to end my speech. Thank you for listening. Back to you.
That was a great speech. Our last and the fifth speaker is Youth Leader Aris.
Thank you. Good morning to one and all. First of all, I would like to thank our MC Zurafa Mohammed for giving me this opportunity to speak about myself. My name is Mohammed Ahdasham Hussain Aris, and I am basically from India, but I am currently in Bahrain since from 10 years, and I live here with my parents and my elder brother. I study in Allu International School of Bahrain in class 8. My hobby is skating and painting. I love to do painting, and when I do painting, do any artwork, it gives me the freedom to express thoughts on the paper. And my ambition is to become an ophthalmologist. If you don't know what is ophthalmologist, it means eye specialist. And about my parents, my father works in a private company and my mother is a housewife. And that's all about me. Thanks again to all the Toastmasters and Chief Coordinator for listening me. Over to you, MC. Thank you.
Wow, that was a good speech. Everyone did a great job. Now let's give a round of applause to all the speakers. Now let's vote for the best speaker.
So you think
sending the link. Ma'am, are we doing the voting now?
Tawfiq, are you creating the poll?
I'm just trying to get it from Toastmaster Viqar. I think he shared with you, did he?
No.
Okay, fine. I'm just trying to get it. Give me a few seconds and you can continue.
Yeah. We'll get it in the end. Continue.
So now let's move on to the evaluation session. To evaluate Anshara's speech, I invite youth leader Rua.
1 second.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have internet issues. I just need like 2 minutes.
It's showing page not found.
Zurafa, you can ask people to click on the poll that's been shared on the chat box and take the timer's report.
Yes. So now
It's the
I would
second
like.
link.
Yes, sir.
It's the second link on the chat box.
So the link is posted in the chat box. Please vote for the best speaker. So I would like to request the timer David to tell the timing report, please.
Yes. Anshara Samin took 3 minutes, 27 seconds. She's qualified. Noura Faisal took 3 minutes, 10 seconds. She's qualified. Khadija Zara took 3 minutes, 40 seconds. She's qualified. Usaid Khan took 4 minutes, 38 seconds. He is disqualified. And Mohammed Aris took 55 seconds and he is disqualified.
Thank you, timer. So our first evaluator, Rua, are you ready?
Yes. Good morning. Today I'll talk about Anshara Samin's speech. Her speech was amazing. She looked confident and her language was great. She talked about how her friends demotivated her for a long time. She motivated herself to do the best. Although you were not audible for me for a lot of time, I'm evaluating you for what I saw. Your story was amazing and your speech was around 3 minutes 37 seconds, which means you're qualified. Amazing speech, Anshara.
The second evaluator is youth leader Soha, who will be evaluating Noura's speech. Youth leader Soha.
Well, thank you, MC, and a very good morning to my dear friends and teachers. Well, I'm evaluating Noura Faisal's speech. Her speech was excellent. I have no words to say. And Noura is a very beautiful name. Your speech was excellent. Eye contact with the audience was also good. And you also used some gestures well we see in your speech. And I prefer that you can use a little bit of sense of humor in your speech. And you are an adventurous person and you like traveling. That's amazing. Thank you.
So let's welcome our third evaluator, Youth Leader Zahra, to evaluate Khatija's speech. I think Ram sir will be evaluating, right?
Yes.
Let's welcome.
Thank you, Toastmaster Day Zurafa. I'll be evaluating Khadija's speech. What a fantastic icebreaker that was. I really enjoyed it. I'm sure everybody in the audience also enjoyed it. Let me start off by saying, let's talk about gestures. This entire meeting was all about gestures, and I think you did a fantastic job in that area. You were standing up, which is fantastic. Most people like me are sitting down, and I think we all need to get out of the habit of doing that. So well done for standing up, and well done for demonstrating gestures. There was one aspect of gestures that I'd like to just get you to think about, which is eye contact. Your eye contact was fantastic throughout. However, there was one time where you turned around and then you lost eye contact. Try and maintain eye contact at all times if you can. Let's talk about language now. So language was very good. You talked about how you were very naughty. You talked about being restless. You talked about having very big responsibilities. So I think you used really good words in your speech today. And then let's talk about organization now. So I think your organization was really good. You opened up with after staying in the stomach for 9 months of my mother, and then you introduced us again. So you had a little bit of an opening, and then you opened up with a bigger body and you went into more detail. What I would say about your organization, however, is try not to have a sudden ending. So you had a lot of good content in your speech today. Maybe what you could do is summarize by saying, and now you've discovered a little bit more about me. I'm going to hand you back to Toastmaster of the Day. And think maybe that would be a slightly better ending. Try that, see if that works for you. Let's talk about vocal variety now. I think your vocal variety is really good. You used the power of your voice tremendously today. You are clear, you are understandable. My one small piece of advice would be you have fantastic energy within you, like a battery. Maybe try to just tone it down a little bit at times. So what you get is you get a burst of energy, and then other times you say, I'm now the calm Khadija. So overall, really, really good speech. Really enjoyed it. Fantastic speech. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Zurafa.
Thank you, sir. So our fourth evaluator is Youth Leader Zurafa, who will be evaluating Hussein's speech. So am I visible and audible?
Yes.
Thank you. Keep a smile on your face. It's the best accessory you can ever wear. Good morning to one and all present here. Today, I will be evaluating my speaker, Hussein Khan's speech. Wow, it was a great speech. The way he presented was good. His speech title, Things About Me, was very simple and it linked with the speech perfectly. His speech was very well organized. I would like to suggest him he could have stood while speaking, and number two, he could have added humor that would have attracted the audience even more. And then number three, his voice modulation was good, but he could improve a little more. And overall, it was good. Yes, you are right. Happiness lies inside us. So whatever he said, whatever we get, we have to be grateful. We have to be happy. That's correct. Happiness lies inside us. Even the small thing, we need to be happy. That's right. So by hearing his speech, I could tell that he's going to be a successful and honest software developer. And I wish him a very good luck for his future. And he started with the childhood memories and ended with the inspirational quote. Time management is an important thing, and I think you didn't follow it. So and I hope the next time when you give your speech in the future, you would give a more better one, a more excellent one, and would follow all the suggestions I have given. And yeah, so overall, it was a good speech, just few improvements, and I hope you would take that up and give a more better speech. And yeah, thank you and have a wonderful day ahead. So our fifth and the last evaluator is youth leader Yusuf, who will be evaluating our speech.
First of all, I would just, before I start my evaluation, I'd just like to say you did a very magnificent job. Your speech was really good. I am really proud of you. I would like everyone to clap for him, if you don't mind. So now let's get into the good points. I liked how you thanked Zurafa in the beginning of your speech. It was very grateful of you. It was very kind of you. And I really appreciated how you turned your camera on. That was a really good thing to add. And another thing, I like how detailed you explained things. And your volume was very loud and very clear. That was really good. And I liked how you talked about your dreams. I liked how you found jobs interesting, and I just liked how confident you were in your speech. But here are some things you can improve. Although your speech was magnificent, it was great, but here are some points that you need to improve. How about adding some hand gestures? If you use some hand gestures, that would be very nice. It would attract the audience more, I believe. And maybe if you looked at the camera more often, if you didn't memorize it, I completely understand you don't have to. Maybe just try looking at your script or Word document and then look back at the camera, something similar to that. And your speech was a bit short, so next time try to make a longer speech that would attract the audience more and make it more interesting. And I wish you would have stood up. That would be much better practice, because in the real life BITP Toastmasters, you will have to stand up and move around and make hand gestures during your speech. And I wish you would have added a bit of humor. That would have make your speech a lot funnier, a lot more interactive. And yeah, overall, your speech was magnificent. It was great. It was awesome. And I really liked it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone evaluated like a professional. Wow. So now let's vote for the best evaluator. So the link is given in the chat box. You can vote for the best evaluator.
Even though the names may not be the same, but we know the players as per the order. So please vote accordingly. Thank you.
My name is not there.
Yeah, but we know which roll number you were in, so it's easier for us to identify.
Okay.
Sir, I'll continue.
Yes, please go ahead. All the very best.
I hope the best evaluator wins. The most awaited session, debate. Are you all ready? I hope so. Okay, wow. The debate topic is home rule versus self-rule. So now let's welcome the debate leader, Aisha.
Thank you, MC. Good morning, coordinators, fellow youth leaders, and guests. I'm Aisha Tawfiq, the leader of Debate Team 1. We are in the favor of the topic self-rule. The word self-rule refers to our desire to pursue our own choices according to our wishes. Self-rule is the best rule to rule your future. Ashish Tenganal. In our opinion, self-rule is the best option because it allows individuals to do their own thing in accordance with their choices and wishes, provided it is the right thing to do. Our choices are entirely ours, and we choose how we want to do something. We do not require approval from anyone, nor must we complete a request precisely because they asked us to do. Thank you.
Yes, the second leader can start.
Good morning, everyone. Self-rule is very important these days. It makes, can I say?
Yes, you can. You can continue.
Good morning, everyone. Self-rule, it's very important these days. It makes us more accountable and responsible. When we grow later in our life, we know how to make a home, we know how to set our home. We know how to set our homes. Once we are out of our parents' house as young women and men, it will be easier for us to arrange and set furniture and items according to what we have learned from the house of our parents. And if we don't do something by our choices, we will never know the value of decision or responsibility and blame our parents if something goes wrong. I like self-rule because I can set my bedroom according to what I like. I can set my items, cosmetics, perfume, my clothes according to what I like to do. Of course, it's very important I should not disturb others because of my self-rule. I shouldn't make hard for them, but I should organize things. Self-rule increases my organization skills. According to one statistic in Google, it says, children who believe in self-rule become better leaders later. Over to you.
Yes, so from team one, the second speaker can start, please.
Team leaders, you please introduce your team.
Do we have anybody from the home rule?
You can have, you can give the names of your team in the home and the self.
So team leader two, that team 2-1 is Zahara and King Shisabs. This is
Zurafa, who are the team members, team 1 and team 2?
First team 1, Aisha already told. Team 2, the team leader is Zahara and she's not there.
Okay, so who's the second member in the team 2?
Aisha, another Aisha.
Aisha, so just introduce the members in your team, and then one after the other you take turns and start saying.
Me?
Yeah, so who are the members in your team? Just go through the agenda, the names are there. Relax.
I think Aisha Tawfiq is the team leader, yani.
Second team, the leader is Ahmad Faruqi. After Ahmad Ali, and then Aris Ahmad Faruqi.
So Khadija, just keep telling the names and they'll come and start saying, since it's not very...
Self-rule, there are both Aisha, two Aisha.
Team 2 leader, Ahmad Abdur Rahim Faruqi. He's not here.
Do we have Muhammad Aris?
Yes.
Do we have Muhammad Aris?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you show up, please? I think you are from the home rule, yeah?
Yes.
You're muted. Can you unmute your mic, please?
Just wait a second. I have background disturbance.
Can you unmute your mic, please?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so can you go ahead with your points of home rule? You're muted. Can you go ahead?
I guess we can, the team too, we can volunteer someone as the team leader.
Hello.
Ariz, are you ready to speak?
Yes.
Yeah, then go on.
Home rules are better just because I'm not getting some points. I need some time. Can you just pass on to someone else?
Usaid Khan, Usaid.
Not in the section.
Yeah, you are there. So can you speak about home rule?
No one informed me I was in it.
Carry on, Khadija. You can also step in. And
Yeah, so I'll be the team. Okay, home rule. Home rule is actually better than self rule. In self rule, even though you make decisions, you can't just go for it. Our parents, our mentors, our teachers are more experienced than us. They have experienced many problems in their life, and if we follow their advice, it will be good for us. Like for example, my parents, okay, I told them I want an Instagram account. They actually restricted me. They told, no, you can't have an Instagram account right now because you're too small for it. And why is it? Because there are some bad things over. That's why they have experienced that kind of thing. That's why they are saying no to me. In self rule, you will do whatever you want, and your parents will, even though your parents scold you for something, right? You won't care. And when we just start to own ourselves, we start to make decisions. We leave our parents. We'll start to give back answers to our parents. That if we say us to do this, we won't do it. Home rule is better because when our parents give us advice, we'll be like obeying them, being respectful, disciplined, and many other things. Yes.
Can I talk for self rules?
Miss, I have a question. It's am I on self rule team or am I on home rule team?
what's on the agenda?
Miss, I don't know which team I'm on.
Yusuf, you're in home rule. You're with home rule. Yusuf, you're
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you for informing me.
So can I talk for self rule against?
Zurafa, you can go for home rule since there are not much participants.
Okay, sir, I got some points.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
Unmute yourself.
Home rules are better than self rule just because our mother says that always after playing, no, before playing you have to study and then you can play how much you want. But we always do we always play and then study. But that also is not right. Just because whenever we play, we get tired and then we will not have will not be like we don't want to study now. What we'll do? So our mothers always says that's right. We should always study and then play. So I think home rules are better than self rules.
Can I talk for home rule now?
Yes, go ahead.
Can I speak
Right.
after?
I strongly agree that home rules are better than self rule because like home rule means our parents are controlling us. There are elders who are controlling us and they know They have gone through the all phases of life and they know what is right and what is not right. And they mostly tell us to study. That's for good. Because in this generation, without studies, you won't get job. So that's what they say is good. And even you can say now, if you're doing for self rule, you can, like, it's so bad. You may go to a bad position. You may go in a bad path. Even if parents are forcing you, that's for good. Yeah, it's for your good, right? So I think homeroom is better than self.
Faiza, with your self-rule.
Yes,
Faiza Arif.
okay. My worthy opponent says that we make mistakes. Maturity comes with mistakes by what we do. Here is an example. Sometimes our parents tell that when you're with friends with someone, they have a bad feeling that this is a bad influence for our child. So they say that don't be friends with them, but we ignore them, and at end we realize that yes, they are bad influence with us, because influence at us, and also there's a saying that maturity has nothing to do with age. Maturity comes with mistakes, mistakes, understanding, learning.
Can I follow up on what she said?
Okay, sir.
Okay. So what my worthy opponent has said, with mistakes and making mistakes, we will mature. And what if we made a big mistake? What if we made a big mistake that people will not be able to forget? For example, I will not say who, but there are some people that are trying to bomb our countries. And what if that's a mistake? If they matured, okay, they matured, but the countries are still bombed. You still made that mistake. Learning from the mistake is not going to change the fact that you still made a mistake. And it's not very easy to fix it. And you need help from others to guide you. That's why that's why you have parents. They will help you, they will guide you, they will tell you what to do. I'll give you an example. You have a test tomorrow, you have an upcoming test you have to do, and your parents advise you to study and to work hard, but you don't want to study. You want to play with your friends, you want to play your video games, so you do not study. But next day you go into the test and you don't know anything. You're very confused, you don't know what's happening, and you wish you studied. You learned from the mistake, I get that, but you still made the mistake. And that's not going to change the fact that you got a bad mark because you didn't study. You mature from mistakes, but that doesn't change the fact that you still make them. Thank you.
Aisha Ali, go ahead.
I wanted to say one point about self-rule. Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure, there are parents, but for small things, we can apply self-rule.
Okay, but how did you come to this world without your parents, right? You came to this world because of the support of your parents. And what's wrong in obeying them? What's wrong in listening to them, or what's wrong in obeying them, right? So without parents, you wouldn't have come. Instead, we can obey them and be a good parents. I mean, good children.
Faiza Arif, go ahead.
Yes, so my worthy opponent said that we are disrespecting them. We are not disrespecting them. We are using their knowledge given by them. We are using the knowledge given by our society, by the school, by our parents. We are using them. And we are not disrespecting them because we need their help. But we also have to use their the wisdom given by them, because at some point, if you just always go to your parents and ask them, they will feel like we are not responsible.
Can I opposite? My worthy opponent, Faiza, you're saying that if we go to our parents and ask for some help, they think that we are not responsible. Actually, it's wrong. They think that we are more responsible. We are actually asking more questions to be more responsible in some things. In case I'm asking something on how do I operate a laptop, I go to my dad and say, how do I operate a laptop? And he's explaining me. And in that way, he's thinking that, yeah, I'm being more responsible to handle this laptop. When I ask more questions to my parents, when they explain me, when I understand it, they think that, yeah, you're the right person to use this. Yeah, you can do it like that. Yeah. Thank you.
Aisha Tawfiq, go ahead.
As my worthy
You're muted. You're muted.
As my worthy opponent Khatija said, we're not saying don't go to your parents to ask. We're just saying that don't always go to them. Some decisions you have to take by yourself. Some small things.
Can I
May I pause what she said?
Please raise your hand and then come forward so that it's easier. No one cross talks. Okay, Yusuf Bartoli.
Okay, so she said some small things that we should handle by ourselves, and I agree with that, but we cannot just go around handling things by ourselves, not knowing what they do. For example, we're going to a candy store, and you saw a candy that you want to buy, but you didn't check the expiry dates, and then you automatically buy it and it tastes bad. And many other mistakes. You cannot just keep repeating these mistakes. You need to ask for help. It's okay to do things by yourself. It's okay to do small things by yourself, but it's better to seek help. It's better to seek help because then you will not mess up. And when you bought that money, you wasted a lot of money on that candy, and that is not returnable since you already opened the pack. I agree that you should take small things by yourself, but it's better to seek help from others if you don't know something. Nothing is wrong with asking others for help because they are here to help you. Thank you.
Nuha, go ahead.
Yes, as Yusuf, my worthy opponent Yusuf said, we can always like ask everybody, I mean the elders, what to do and all, because it will look a bit irresponsible of us. Like it'll look that we're independent, we're not independent, and we just want their help. Because we should learn things on our own, so like we can be a better person.
If we ask a lot of things to our parents, we are not independent.
Okay,
When
and
we
one
get
more.
more advisors, we'll be more knowledgeable, and that time we are independent. It's not like when we ask again and again our parents something that they are thinking that we are not independent, we are very irresponsible and stuff. It's not like that. When we ask more questions, we get more knowledge. When we get more knowledge, we start to make right decisions. And when we start to make right decisions, we are more responsible and more independent. Home rule is better than self-rule.
Zurafa.
So now if I'm good at something, like example, I'm good at something like studies, or maybe now if I'm in this platform right now, it is just because of my parents who encouraged me, who told me just go and do, just express your talent. It's just because of my parents, like how I'm here now. And I think they do for a good. So I'm telling that home rule is just better than self-rule. And east or west, home rule is the best. Thank you.
Khadija Zara again.
So does your parents allow you to go alone outside somewhere, alone? No, of course no. But those people who just think, yeah, if we go outside, we can have more fun, we can chill, we can make vibes, we can take we can snaps and post it in our Instagram stories and etc. You know why our parents say not to go alone outside? Because they care for you, and that care shows that how much our parents love us. And when they advise us more things, okay, suppose we are me ourselves and going outside and something happens, like we get kidnapped or something happens, okay, so who are responsible? We are responsible for it, not our parents, because our parents told us not to go outside, still we went under the supervision of no one. So home rule is better than self rule. Always go with home rule. And wait, one more thing. Why are we, who is correcting our speeches? Who is correcting it? Our mentors. Our mentors are guiding us. They are correcting our speech. They are giving us more ideas on what to add, and that we are following. See, in reality also we are following our mentors itself, right? To speak something, or they are correcting our speeches and everything. And today, hand gestures they showed, and we are following it. Mentors are in the part of our home rule itself, and we are following that hand gestures, standing up. So, in reality, we are just doing home rule, not self rule at all. Self rule can be applied in some ways, but home rule always.
Exactly, that was the right point.
Faiza Arif.
Can I speak after her?
Can I speak?
Yes, sir.
Faiza Arif. Faiza Arif.
Yes, sir. So my worthy opponent Khatija said kidnapping, going alone. What will you do when you will be like around 45? Will you ask your parents like, Mom, please come with me, I'm scared?
Aisha Ali.
Thinking 45, just think. On 45,
Aisha Ali, Khadija, you don't overtake, please. Aisha Ali.
Our parents are busy with their life. With self-rule, we can do so much to take some part of their responsibility.
Yusuf Bardoli.
Yes, sir. Okay, so as my opponent Aisha said, that if we're 45 or something, and we get kidnapped, we would not call our parents. You're right, we wouldn't. But some small things we can do by ourselves. But many big things we cannot do by ourselves. We need our parents' help. Like for example, you're ruling a country. You're the king of this country, and you decide and you want to go to a water park. And there's a free plot there, and you want to make a new water park. But there are many sick citizens because of coronavirus, but you want that water park. So do you just go ahead and make a water park? No, you should ask people for advice. You should ask your parents, not only your parents. If your parents passed away, you can ask your siblings, you can ask your cousins, you can ask your friends. It's okay to need help sometimes. And I agree, you should be independent sometimes, but still, most of the time, you should be taking help from others. Thank you.
Khadija Zara.
What are you actually thinking? Right now, we are a teenager. That's why our parents are caring for us. 45, we are completely responsible. We are completely mature. So just think, how can someone simply kidnap us? Right now, we are teenagers. That's why people kidnap and do something else and blah, blah, blah. Okay. 45, we are more responsible, we are more matured. We know where to go, we know where not to go. Just stop thinking that 45 will call our parents, because we are more responsible. I really am laughing right now, because in the age of 45, even if we get kidnapped, we have brain. We are having cells in our brain to use it. We have our power to just smash the killers, something we can do. But at the age of 45, seriously, and Usaid also said, at the age of 45, so we get more knowledge. So Faiza, I really just don't agree to your point at all.
Noha, go ahead.
Yes, as Khadija said, my worthy opponent Khadija said, like, if you're 45, then you can make self-rule. You don't need to ask others and stuff. Yeah, in some matters you can ask for their opinions, but like by then you'll grow up and you'll have to make your own decisions. And
Noha, you're muted.
I wanted to say I didn't include parent in this sentence. In my sentence, I didn't include parent. I said we are itself self-parent, as said by Usaid. I didn't say that we need to ask our parents. So just listen the sentence.
Zurafa.
So like our parents, our elders give us advice because they know what's going to happen in the not future, but they know what will happen, what is the end result in that. And our parents got their advices from their parents, their elders, and that just generation, and they know each generation what happens. Nowadays, if you see, even a small kid get kidnapped because there is no one with them, like no elders, and they just kidnap kids. What is this? In this world, you want to be in self-rule, independent. Oh my God, that's not going to happen. By having parents, it's easy. Like one may kidnap, but self-rule, being independent, going somewhere, you will get kidnapped. And mainly in this generation, Haven't you seen the news? Right. So home rule is better than self-rule.
Aisha, Tawfiq.
We're not saying do not listen to our parents. We're not saying go against them. We're just saying that our parents have taught us what to do and what not to do. So they have taught us what is right and what is not right. So we are supposed to listen to them, but we also need to do some things by our own self.
Yusuf Bardoli.
Listening to our parents itself, right? Indirectly, don't say no now.
Khadija Zara, please raise your hand and wait for your turn. Yusuf Bardoli.
Okay, as my worthy opponent said, but I respectfully disagree with you. When you become older, you're supposed to teach your children. You're supposed to be the home ruler. You cannot just judge your children by yourself. You will need help from others. For example, your kid is crying for a toy. You're not just going to go buy it for them. You're going to go ask others for help. You're going to ask them, should I buy it for them? You're not going to straight up make a decision. You are going to be the home ruler. You cannot just do it by yourself. You'll make many mistakes and your child will be the one paying the price for your mistakes. So it's okay to ask for help, even when you're older, even when you are a grandparent or a great-grandparent, it's okay to ask for help. You cannot do many things by yourself. You can do a few things by yourself, but if you make mistakes when you do things by yourself, your child or the person you made the mistake for is going to pay the price for your mistake. Thank you.
Khadija Zara.
Say, our parents, okay? My mom and dad still listen to their parents. Still. You know what? Whenever they are going to buy a property or a land, something they are going to do very big, they still ask the advice of their parents. They don't do anything by themselves. Okay, the big things, buying a property or making something very big or building a building or something, they still ask their parents, and that time only. If they say no means no, they will just think about more, they'll think more and then they will go for it. Still they ask their parents. So yeah.
Zurafa.
So when you're born, like you're a baby, who takes care of you? Your parents, right? It's because of them that you are at this particular place. It's because of them that you are having a good characteristics. And many people like don't have parents. Be grateful to be grateful that you have parents to take care of yourself. Be grateful like how such big blessings they are, right? So why do you want to have self-rule? Yeah, thank you.
Nuha.
Yes, as my worthy opponent said, we don't mean to disobey our parents, but like we are growing up now, and my parents want me to grow up, make my own decisions, and be independent, not being dependent on them for every single thing. And yeah.
Faiza Arif.
So as my worthy opponent Zurafa said, some parents don't have, some children don't have parents. They do, they don't take, like some orphans. They also they also take decisions by themselves because they don't have elders, so they make decisions by themselves, and they might make mistake, but then after that they realize their mistake, and then next time they don't do that mistake.
Yusuf Bardoli.
Okay, so as my worthy opponent Aisha said, I respectfully disagree with what you have said. Because when I was younger, I used to keep repeating the same mistake over and over again. As children, it's normal to repeat the same mistake again because you don't understand what's happening and you don't understand how it's wrong for you. When I was younger, I used to mix shampoos and hand soaps in small bottles and make small potions. And every time my parents used to scold me for it, and I used to go in my room and cry. And then I kept on doing it, even though they told me it's wrong. But when I grew up, I didn't do it. But my children are going to do the same thing, and they're going to keep making the same mistake as I did. It's normal for us to make the same mistake again. But when you're older, it's fine. It's fine to take to make some decisions by yourself, but it's better to ask other people for help, because if you're making a very big decision or a huge decision and you're just going to make it by yourself without asking someone for their point of view, and what if maybe you made a mistake? What if this was the wrong decision? What if people don't like it? So it's better to ask other people, and it always will be better to ask other people. Thank you.
Okay, we will take last and then we will roll it up. Zurafa?
Yes. So now like what the opponent said, Paiza said that whenever you're a baby, you won't get what? Sorry, you won't get opportunities. What you want, you can't do, right? But now, what if a child goes to the kitchen, takes a knife? What happens? So that we need parents, we need elders to monitor us. When we're a kid, what are you going to do when you get a knife? The knife and a baby. What are you going to do, right? So we need parents to monitor us. Our elders, at least one elder should be there. Yeah, and I'm still telling home rule is better than self.
Okay, last one, Faiza Arif, and when we close it, because we have the others coming in from the other room. Faiza Arif, your last.
So my worthy opponent Yusuf said that kids do, when he was a kid, he used to do that. That time your parents used to tell no. That time you were a kid. Kids are naughty and they do it. But when you became old, when you started growing, you got to know that what you did and now you're not doing it. Because you got to know that, yes, I did it and it was wrong.
Toastmaster Sangeeta, over to you, because we have the other BYLP joined us. So let's conclude the session.
Right. So final. So what are you towards, Tawfiq? Your poll. I mean, what is your on self-rule or home rule?
I'm the moderator. I wouldn't take side today.
Okay, so Ram, which side are you on? Home rule or self-rule? Or can I also say it?
Isn't that a table topic? It's a table topic, but I'm going to answer that. The answer is both. Yeah, when I'm younger and I'm an idiot, because most children are just idiots, right? Because they don't know. They're not idiots. They're just unknowledgeable. They don't know. Right? So I would say when you're younger, your job is to listen to everybody else, seek advice, learn from everybody else's mistakes, and you will make fewer mistakes. And then as you get older, you should become more independent and you should be self-ruling. So I would say it depends on where you are in your life. If you're a youngster, then you should be going home rule. As you get older, self-rule. Back to you, Sangeeta.
Okay, so shall we quickly give it to our MC first and then close it?
Yeah, you need to also adjourn, by the way. The president hasn't adjourned it officially.
Right. So hand it over to the MC and then
yes,
to the president and then back to me. Yes. MC, take over.
That was a very interesting session, right? And very exciting too. So now I hand over the control to the president, Khatija.
Masters of Ceremony have done a very great job, I must say. And I appreciate Timer, Grammarian, and all the role players here who have just spoke. And yeah, they did very well. It was stupendous. Yeah, so I, Khadija Zara, adjourn this meeting. Thank you.
All right. So now we will call upon general evaluator. It says the agenda says Gayatri ma'am.
Yeah, she was there in the B. It's fine. So
okay, so shall I do it?
Yeah, you can do it. Yes.
Okay. So fantastic. I'll just give my report. We will call upon actually our evaluator. No, we've done with the evaluator. Okay, so
the timer's report I think is pending.
Timer's report is pending. Yes. So please, timer, please give us your report. And grammarians then. Timer, are you there, David?
Yes, ma'am.
Timer, you have to give your report.
Yes, ma'am. It's about the evaluators, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, fine. Let's do that.
Yes. Okay. So, Ruwa Al-Samaji took 32 seconds. She is disqualified. Soa Aslam took 34 seconds. She is disqualified. Toastmaster Ram took 2 minutes 26 seconds. He is qualified. Zurafa took 1 minute 50 seconds. She is disqualified. And Yusuf also took 1 minute 50 seconds and he is disqualified.
Thank you so much, Youth Leader David. Let's call upon our grammarian to give us his report.
Okay. So there are, from what I've seen, I haven't seen any improper grammatical uses. All the grammar was correct from what I have seen. And I don't think anyone used the word of the day. But there are some lists, quotes, thoughts, words that I liked. In Anshura's speech, she said how she described herself as a roller coaster. That was very stupendous. It was a very good description. It was very unique. And another part of her speech, she says she wants to inspire others because I understood her story and what she was going through, and she wanted to inspire others to do the same thing that she did. It was very inspiring. It was very awesome. It was very great. And Noura, she described herself as an instrument. It was a very deep description. It was very nice. It was unique. And another thing that Noura wrote in her speech, life isn't about waiting, it's about dancing in the rain. It was very inspiring. It was very heart touching, and I really liked it. And Khadija's speech in the beginning, she talked about herself in third person, which I found very impressive and unique. Another part of her speech is she likes everything made of chicken, and I want to live in my dream country, France. It was very unique, and I liked how the way she described it. I liked the way she included humor in it, and yeah. And in Usaid's speech, he said even though he tries to make his siblings listen, they don't, but he still tries. That was very inspiring. It was very nice of him. And another part in his speech that I found inspiring is happiness is not out there, it's inside you. That was very deep. It was heartwarming, and it was very inspiring. And Mohammed's speech, I liked how he talked about his dreams and how determined he is to get his dream. And I also liked his introduction, how he thanked the MC, which was sorry, not the MC, I don't know who that was, and I apologize. He thanked Zurafa, and that sounded very kind and grateful. I hope everyone, I'm pretty sure everyone has done great. They all have done an amazing job, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Youth Leader Yusuf. And now to give my report, quickly, I'll just say that since we are short of time, the session was beautifully conducted. Your MC started off with a fantastic energy, with the presidential's very inspiring speech with a lot of history and getting us back connecting to our present and feeling how lucky we are. The speeches were excellent. I would just have some recommendations, though even I'm not doing it. Yes, when you give your speech, do stand up and give your speech. It gives all the gestures. You can actually apply that, what we have got from today's workshop. There's some things that I liked and I want more of that is when things are not going right, you can always come in, pitch in, and let the show go on. Participation from different members is invited. When you have that, okay, you're not been assigned, but you can always come forward, take this as an opportunity. You learn a lot. Save the day. Another thing for the evaluators is that once you're done with your evaluation, hand it over by saying, over to you, MC. That gives us to understand that you're done, and it gives a beautiful flow. Yes, and that would be it. Take responsibility is the message from today's debate. And with that, I actually hand it over to Toastmaster Viqar. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sangeeta, to arrange or conduct a wonderful meeting in Group A. and both sides everyone has enjoyed, and everyone they're improving a lot day by day. So what is our next session?
It is about voice and vocabulary.
Wow, who said Soha Aslam? Soha Aslam is the winner for the quiz. I noted down that Soha Aslam. Last time Sara Muniz, this time Soha Aslam. Okay, are you excited for session 8 will be finale? How many of you ready for finale?
I'm ready.
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 Totally ready.
Okay.
Yes.
Excited.
Okay, great. You know, session 8 will be finale, which will be as a contest between all of you. How many of you so far has win the best speaker, best evaluator, or best role player? How many of you?
I am pretty sure I won best debate speaker last time.
Sir, I won the MC last session.
No, you just write in the chat. Write in the chat. Okay, and I want to give an opportunity for those who have not won so far. Okay, I have an opportunity for those who have not won anything so far. Who are they? Nuha, Fawaz, Ankush. Okay, for you, we have this show is yours, and you have to lead the show. In finale 8, I am looking for 3 master of ceremonies. Who is coming forward? Like how master of ceremony is doing our contest.
I think Toastmaster Vicar, we can take this on WhatsApp, which would be much better. Then you can have it recorded, and we can have all the role players filled in.
No.
Because if we ask-
I want to make it now clear for everyone. So sometimes they are not watching WhatsApp. Sorry to say that. Okay, so I am looking for 3 MCs, and those who have not win any winning or did not get the opportunity. And now we need 3 timers and 6 surge at a time. So total I said 3 plus 3 plus 6, 12. So who are there? Okay, somebody is writing for MC. Fawaz is writing for MC. Zayed Mullah writing for MC. Okay, who else? Amatullah, Ankush for timer. Good. Yeah, you can respond this one. So at least we will come to know MC for Aisha, Hanif, speaker. Okay, so this opportunity, the MC is only for those who have not won and they want to be a master of ceremonies. And most of them like Amatullah, Aisha Hanif, Khatija, Ansara, Roya, they are Soha, they are winner. So they will be part of a contest for the best speeches and best evaluator and best table topics. So table topic also is a part of our contest. So those who are not part of anything, they can part of also table topic. Is open for anyone. Those who are taking the role, they are not eligible to be part in the contest. This I am giving a brief as our Toastmaster Tawfiq is mentioned. We will take in the WhatsApp as well as, and we need your confirmation on. I think they are waiting for result. Yes.
Yes, we are waiting
Yes,
for
yes, sir.
result.
Yeah.
Okay, so then.
I have a doubt.
Okay, then we will go with the first AYLP. Who is the best speaker?
We didn't vote for the best debate speaker because the names were different and only some participated.
Yeah, it's okay, fine, because only you know who is the first and second and third, so we'll come to know about that. Now you tell me who is the best speaker.
Sir?
Yes?
I haven't received the link for the best debate speaker.
You didn't listen? Okay.
Me too.
Okay.
Even I didn't get the link for the best speaker, like the normally.
I didn't get the one for the best debate speaker.
I think you should resend the links in the chat box.
You didn't
It was
listen?
shared on the chat box, but you were having a lot of debate on the chat box, so that's why it just got missed. I have posted it again. Please Cast your votes.
Okay, vote for the best speaker. Okay, meanwhile,
BYLP vote.
AYLP, yeah?
Sir, we'll
BYLP,
randomly
please
vote.
refrain from it.
It's
BYLP,
anyone's
please
luck.
refrain from it.
Okay,
BYLP,
BYLP
please
for the
refrain
role.
from it. Because you were not part of it, you're not aware.
ALYP for one.
Okay, BYLP for role player, you mean, Joel?
No, sir, the best debate speaker. Where's the ALYP one?
Okay, okay. No issues. Okay, now it is done. It is done. Now we have to call for the best speaker.
So it says BLYP here. It says BLYP.
BYLP. Okay, okay, sorry. And that is for the best speaker or for what? What you need, Toastmaster Tawfiq?
Sir, for the best debate speaker for ALYP, I don't see the link.
Best debate.
It's on the chat box.
Okay, sir.
But it does not give the right names because the role players were not the same. So it's okay. You just go as per the serial.
Sir, I don't see my name here.
You won't have your name because it was not updated that time.
Sir, do I refresh?
Let's screen their name or just tell their name instead of voting.
Sir, my name is not there. I'm very confused.
Okay, AYLP, let us raise our hands for each role players. Madam Sangeeta, would you call up the names and they can raise their hands so we know which is the majority?
For the debate?
Yes, please.
Or for the speaker? Okay, for the debate.
For the debate.
So, okay, debate we had Khadija, and we had, okay, Zarafa. We had...
No, can you just call up one name at a time and they can just raise their hands?
Toastmaster
Can
Tawfiq,
we go with a self help and home help? How about we do that?
that team is done already. Team debate is done.
Let's vote for the team A and team B.
Team A, team B, you have not posted. Tawfiq, can it post now?
Yeah,
instead of the names, let's go with just for the team.
Okay, the team, I will share it now. Team already. Okay, I will share now.
I had posted that as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay, I can post it again.
Yeah, just the team. We're not going with the names in the debate.
Yeah, debate team. Just vote for the debate team.
Only AYLP, please.
Sir, only AYLP have to do it?
Yes.
Yeah, only the AYLP. Team A is home rule and self rule, and team B is home rule, right?
Yes, exactly.
I think we can give a count of 5 and then close.
Yes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Finished.
Okay. Now, as they mentioned, they want the name in the speaker, debate speaker.
It's okay, leave it now. I think it was all confused because the role players were not there, the leaders were not there, and we just chipped in with the number of available team players. So that was good, positive about that, but we need to overcome in future. If the role players are not there, we need to assign somebody.
For BYLP, we did a best debate speaker also. We did the poll.
Yeah, I know, but that you had a pre-planned and pre-defined people. We don't have a predefined people in here.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's so sad. Do you want to raise all your hands up, or we just click? I think we are even short of time, right?
Yeah, that's okay. Now we will we'll see later. Now the best speaker for
everyone's a winner.
Yes, as we said, always everyone is a winner. For
Yeah,
the
Uncle
now,
should say everybody's a winner. That's true. Everybody's a winner. Beautiful.
yes. Now for AYLP, who is the winner? AYLP, any voices?
I think Khadija.
So from what?
Okay, who is okay? Now I will not take much time. So the AYLP best speaker is Ansara Samin.
Congratulations.
Was it close fight?
Huh?
Was it a close fight?
Yes, of course, it's a close fight.
Good. So everybody is a winner.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Okay, so then now AYLP best evaluator. Who is that?
Again, you will have to say the number 1, number 2, number 3 because some were not as per the defined agenda.
Who is the number 1? Number 1, who was that as a evaluator?
Number 1 was Rua.
Roya. Okay.
Rua. Second was Soha.
Okay.
Second was Soha. And third was Ram, mentor. So
Okay.
we're not
And
counting him. And fourth was, who was it? One of them was Yusuf. And
it was me, ma'am. Zurafa.
And Zurafa.
Okay, Zurafa. Okay, so now I will announce the result for the best evaluator. And who was the number 1 as you said? Roya.
Yeah.
Okay, the best evaluator is Roya.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Now,
how was the polling? Was it tough or one-sided?
almost 50%. It's fine. Now we will go with the best team for the debate. Who is that? AYLP.
Home rule. Home rule for sure.
Best.
Home rule.
Home rule.
Okay, and the team A1. Who is that A1?
Self-rule.
Self-rule.
Self-rule. Okay. The winner for is AYLP is self-rule. A1. Congratulations. As per the voting. Okay, you made whatever. As per the vote. So is team A has won the debate. Now the best speaker for team A. Who is that?
Zurafa.
I think that one won't work because you didn't have the right names.
Okay, so who was the first speaker? And again here there is a tie. I have the vote, but there is a tie between Aisha, Tawfiq and Atika. Atika was here?
No.
Sir, Atika was Faiza.
Atika was Faiza. Okay, Faiza and Aisha Tawfiq is a tie. Congratulations.
But I think not everybody voted, so it's all right.
It's all right. Okay. Now the best role player for team A. Who is that?
Zurafa. Zurafa.
No doubt the MC. MC had a very good physical background. And she did a lot of work and it requires a lot of praise.
Executive.
Yes. Okay. Congratulations, Zurafa. You are the winner for the best MC. Congratulations. Now the BYLP. Who is the best speaker?
Ayan.
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 Ayan. Ayan.
Yeah, this is the opinion poll. Now I want to see. Yes. Oh my God.
Aisha Hanif.
Aisha Hanif was not here, but yes, Ayan was the winner for BYLP. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks.
Now the
The smile is not saying. There's no smile.
Okay, BYLP evaluator. Who is that? None other than
Aisha.
Aisha Hanif.
Yes, there is a close match between Aisha Hanif and Zayed Mullah, and the winner is Aisha Hanif. Congratulations. It's depend on the vote, and always in Toastmaster we said you have to look for the person, not the person. You have to seek on his content what he's delivered. So now, best team. Who is the best team?
Self-rule. Self-rule.
Home rule.
Self-rule.
There's
Self-rule.
It was supposed to be if many people were there. Self-rule.
Self-rule.
Okay, okay.
Self-rule.
Okay, clear winner is self-rule. I will not take much.
Wow, so it seems like the
Congratulations.
section is only self-rule. So all of you youth leaders
It's
are
obvious.
dominating on your homes, yeah?
Congratulations, Amatullah, for your team's wonderful performance.
Thank you,
Now we need best role player. Again, who is the best role player?
Who was the MC?
MC.
Shreya, sir.
Shreya.
Shreya.
Yes, okay, great. So this MC is Shreya Sara Sumesh. Congratulations and wonderful job by each and everyone. In our view, you are all our winners, and everyone has done fabulous job. And we have passed some of the 10 minutes more. I don't know, maybe today the time is going very fast. And with that, as I inform you, we need 3 master of ceremonies, 3 timers, and 6 sergeant at arms. So
For timer.
who is the timer? Ankush?
I'm going for timer.
Okay, Ankush is the timer. Okay, I will note it down.
I want to be MC.
I want to be a timer.
Okay.
I want to be MC.
Miraj is timer.
MC.
Ankush is timer.
MC.
Aisha Ali one MC.
No, first we will finish one by one. One by one. First we will finish the timer.
Aisha Ali one MC.
No,
Aisha Ali has not
no,
won
first we will
an
finish
award.
with the timer. Who is the timer? Miraj, Ankush.
Me.
Who is that?
Ankush
Ankush and two other
Bhattacharya
people.
and Mirajuddin.
Mirajuddin, Ankush, and one more. We need one more. No one from the girls? Timer.
You can take Fawaz.
Fawaz? Fawaz, you want to be timer? Come on, fast,
I want
fast.
to be MC.
Oh, you want to be MC, okay. Now, who is the timer now?
Sir, can I Aisha Tawfiq?
Atif. Atif will be the timer. Okay, 3 timer. Now we need sergeant at arms. Sergeant at arms, you know the responsibility. If you run the contest, sergeant at arms, the person who will prepare the speaker. Right now, for the time constraint, we avoid that activity. Sergeant at arms will bring the speaker. He will make sure the timer has been timed, and we will take an example here, so it will be fine. Like Toastmaster Sangeeta is speaker, and Toastmaster Tawfiq is a timer, sergeant, I'm sorry, and I am the master of ceremony. So now I am the master of ceremony. I will say like that. Sergeant at arms is Tawfiq. So I will say, Sergeant at arms, can you prepare the speaker?
You want me to move her to breakout room, or you want
No,
me
no, no, no. You are in the main room. Just you prepare the speaker and ask Sangeeta the speaker position and the pin the timer.
What am I? Toastmaster
You are
speaker?
speaker. You are a speaker.
You are the speaker.
I'm a speaker.
Okay, can you just I'm not able
Pin
to
the
pin
timer.
one.
Okay.
No, you're not the timer. You are the speaker. So can you place yourself looking towards the mic with a beautiful smile and say, repeat after me. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2,
1,
3.
2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
We didn't hear the 2 over there.
Oh, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
So is this your speaking position?
Yes.
Okay, you're visible, you're audible, and you're good to go. All the very best.
Thank you.
So this is the example of the sergeant at arms.
See, this is the example of sergeant at arms. He prepared the speaker for his availability and pin the timer. Then this is the responsibility. Who would like to?
But if you're going to have contests, Toastmaster Viqar, if you're going to have contest, I think we will need more than one breakout room, and we may have.
Yeah, that we will do it for the evaluator and the
table topics.
Table topics. We will do that one, but now we need the role players because this is their show, so we don't want to bring someone else from the outside. So that's what I asked them to come forward. And who would like to take sergeant at arms? And who was in the sergeant at arms? Zayed Mullah, you would like to take?
So I want to be MC.
You want to be MC?
I want to be MC.
MC, we are preferable for girls.
That's not fair.
Sir, even boys did it great.
Yes.
Boys were
also debatable now.
Sir, we don't do this. In Toastmasters, we don't do this.
Toastmaster Viqar, you have put yourself in a real precarious condition now.
No, because we need 3 sergeant at arms. So.
Sir, but why girls?
So what does the sergeant at arms do?
Because for them, we have to give a chance. Sergeant at arms in the real, while you go on the contest, most probably sergeant at arms will be the men will be escorted. So I prefer, not for now, while you go for in-person meeting, it is very helpful for you. That's what I prefer.
Toastmaster Viqar,
Let's make it a change. This time with girl. Let's make it a change.
Sergeant at arms, you want to go?
Sir, I want to see how sergeant at arms.
Okay, we will demonstrate in the next meeting, and now I don't want to take much time. And the speakers, evaluators, and table topics, you can nominate yourself if you want to be a table topic. Those who would like to go as a role player, you can go with the role player. But we prefer already those who are best speaker, best evaluator, best table topic, they are in the contest. And those who are willing to participate as a speaker, evaluator, or table topic, free to join. And you need to learn all those things. We don't want you to stick to only one opportunity as a speaker. You need to do as well as a leadership. The event organized and doing the event, that is a kind of a leadership, not the communication. So we have a 2 path. One is your communication, other is leadership. Organizing an event and part of the event team, that is also a kind of a leadership built in you. What I feel that will much more giving you advantage for become a speaker. Okay, with that, what is our next?
Toastmaster Viqar, we will have to call a separate session for that with the role players, and we will give them an in-depth session so they are familiar with it and they are available for the grand finale.
Yes, okay, thank you, Toastmaster Tawfiq. With that, now our next session will be session 7. What is the name of the session 7?
Voice and vocabulary.
Wow, Aisha Ali, thank you so much.
Can somebody repeat the name of the next session?
Sir, for the next, if we are going to do debate for the next session, someone has given a topic also.
No. Next session will be a table topic. There will be 2 sessions is enough for debate. At least you are enjoying, and you are more enjoying on the debate. That's very good and awesome. I really like it. Now the next session will be session 7, voice and vocabulary, with our own Toastmaster Santosh Abraham will giving you the workshop speech on how to use your voice and vocabulary. Voice is a tone, because now I have a special award. If all they say about session 1 to session 7, what are their names?
Needless order.
Yes, order, yes.
In order, I don't know, but without order, I can try.
Okay, try first.
Just think, listening skills, gestures, and then
It was
Sir,
about
can I say?
How to organize your speech. Session
No, 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 don't come in between because we need to see only one person to attempt all those things. Then,
organizing speech, that's right. Then we had to do gestures, then listening skills, and then before that, I forgot it. It was by TM Tabassum.
okay, good attempt. Now, Toastmaster Zurafa wants to attempt.
Yes, so the first session was introducing to chairmanship, and the second was the for icebreaker. Number three, it was how to speaking skills. And number three, it was how to organize our speeches. And number four, it was, it was number five was listening. And number six was gestures. And number seven is voice modulation.
Vocabulary.
Okay, great attempt. Now, Soha wants to attempt. Yes, Soha.
Yes, first session was about introducing to chairmanship, and second was introduction to public speaking, and third was impromptu speaking, and session 4 was organizing your speech, and this session 5 was listening, and session 6 was gestures in speaking, and the next session is voice and vocabulary.
Excellent, youth leader Soha. You have done a fabulous job. That's what all the members is reminding. You have done 7 sessions. So in that all the speaking specialized area you are learning. Excellent, youth leader Soha. And these are the 7 sessions you have done so far. I need reviews. How you make a review? Review means like I am making a live review. I am as a coordinator, I want to make a review for my sessions. So I'm giving an example, then you can also review as a youth leader. What did you learn and what you most excited? That video we will post on our YouTube channel as well as to the Facebook. If you have a privacy concern, you can inform, but at least you be part of as a video to made it how you have to made it. Now I am starting my session, so I can record. Toastmaster Tawfiq is also recording, so that we will make as a review. Now my review will start now. I really enjoyed conducting youth leadership program from the beginning till now, and it is memorable. I never forget. All the participants, they show their enthusiasm to be a part of youth leadership program. Amazing responses, amazing skill set shown by the youth leaders, best speakers, best evaluator, best table topics, best debater, best master of ceremonies, best timer, best harp master. I really enjoyed. I have to name from 1 to 60, but I like each and every one of my youth leaders. Congratulations for your session. So this is the example which I have made it for myself, so it will be recorded like that. What you do, you use your virtual background like what I use, and use like that. You practice, you record. Everyone is having Zoom application. You just record yourself and feel yourself. This review is fine for you. So you just record 3-4 times, whichever is the best. Send to me or Toastmaster Tawfiq, and we will post it on Facebook, and there is a reward for that. Those who will get maximum views of your video, you are the winner in the finale. So I am looking for best video with the review. So next week we will post it. So before that you have to make it by yourself. Now we have extended our more time because I need to give you some brief about our sessions. So those who would like to be part of that video, who is that? Ankush always is coming forward. Khatija, Yusuf Bardoli, Fawaz, Zurafa, Ansara, Soha, and who else? Khatija. Okay, these videos I want by next week we will review it and we will post it on who will get the maximum views, you will be the winner for the finale as a best reviewer. Okay, with that we will conclude our session. Thank you each and everyone for joining, and see you next week with session number 7. Bye.
Goodbye, sir.